All right, everyone. We're gonna do this again. Together. I need your energy, everyone. Let's do this. We're gonna do this again. This energy is from the Fandom Menace, Fandom Collective, YouTubers, Jeremy's, people with good hearts. Welcome to the Rookie Corner podcast, everybody. It has been a long time since we had this, but welcome back.
Hello, hello.
And I've got my guest, Candace, Geeky Candi. What is up?
Hey there. How are you?
Doing good. How do you like that intro?
I love it. I absolutely love it. It just like, I almost teared up a little bit. I'm like, oh, this is so much better than what you get on TV. So much better.
Yeah, well, it's like, and I love it because it seems like a milestone mark because I tried this back almost a full year ago in my Rookies Test trilogy. And I wasn't as big back then. I was very small, but I got like around 50 people. And then on this one, had like 80 people to give the energy and 135 people in the thing. So
it's amazing.
I like showing that for an intro. Thank you very much. I love it. Thank you. You know, who knows? You might be in the next one with that.
Wouldn't that be fun?
We'll see. But I'm gonna say hello to the chat real quick before we get on going into the topic. So we got Kermit the Log, the mightiest of all the frogs, whom of which is going to join us very soon in just a little bit. We got Snowdub Music and Entertainment, otherwise Jolly. Snowdub's going to give me some rapping lessons because if you've not seen my little videos that attempting to do that, I got good rhymes, cannot do it to a beat. And then we got Lethal Lightning for a $5 super chat. Thank you very much,
Lethal.
My Aussie boy. So he says, a rookie. It makes my blood rush. Kermit makes me want to wear faces in public, and Geeky Candi sends me American women, so she is high on my list.
Yes, full-blooded American woman right here.
Oh yeah, and you know our Aussie brethren, you know.
Yes, love Lethal. We need to play again some Modern Warfare soon, Lethal. Soon.
That is the gamer. Oh yeah, we could also talk about games later if you want, maybe.
I'd love to. I'm excited. I've got a lot to say about some coming up real soon. Yeah.
That's sweet because I actually haven't heard too much about all these games going forward. But sometimes I feel like maybe dipping into games again. Maybe it's just
you should just do it. Just do it. It's fun to let out the anger on all of the.
With an Xbox One, I have an Xbox One, and it like with only 10 games on it. With only 10 games on it, it like already has its storage full. And I'm just like,
I know that feeling. If you ever download a Call of Duty Modern Warfare, it doesn't matter what you have. The updates ruin everything and you have to get rid of every other download you have anyway.
Yeah, well, and it's like
so annoying.
Like I can
no more patches, please.
I wanted to rant about this for a while because it's like, okay, I used to love Xbox. Like the Xbox 360 was perfect as far as a console goes because you can play like over 30 games on there, the entirety, all the extra stuff, everything.
Yeah.
It had the wireless remotes. Even though the battery pack was annoying, it was easy to turn off the controller by unplugging that real quick.
Yeah.
And it was like a lot of good benefits. And
the simplicity of technology back then certainly had its benefits. And one of it is hardiness for sure. I mean, we could toss our Nintendos around till the sun came up and nothing would ever happen to it. And if your game cartridge wouldn't play, you just put it under your shirt and blow all the dust out underneath the, where the thing is. Yes, you pop it back in and you're good to go.
Even though that does not affect it in the least, but that is part of the process. You never know. It's like with sports, it's the good luck thing. If you don't do it, it's not going to work ever.
Right.
So you got to try it. I still have my Nintendo 64. that still works. That still works.
The best. That's like, man, the memories.
It's as old as I am. Like, it's crazy. We also got Bear Nerd Fun in the chat. What's up, buddy? What's up? We got Angelus Draven. I have to
Angelus, how are you?
I always have to be careful when I pronounce names like that. Like Thundercats Ho. I don't remember what else I called it, but it was not Thundercats Ho.
You always get like the what an ass, what a
what an ass, what a bitch, what a cup.
Yeah.
I feel like there should be a beat.
I love it. Like if I ever do a live and he's in there, I like make it a point. I have to say his name many, many, many times because it's so much fun.
It's almost like a song, like to me. It sounds like the beginning, what an ass. What a bitch! What a cup!
Yeah, I want to know the mental process in his or her head. I'm assuming his head. That name was just yes. This is it. Wait, no. Let me add one more piece to it. Cuck. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Now we are complete.
Now that's all the thing.
Yes.
And then we got the script doctor in the house. This dude knows so much about film. Like he's just crazy. And I met him through Twitter. And then so now he's been coming around and he has a YouTube channel himself too. I suggest giving him a follow. He's got a lot of knowledge up there.
Okay.
And then we got Deranged Lunatic. What's up? I've seen him around some other chats quite a bit. What's up? Riot Kitty. She just got my microphone that I gave her for my monetization stream. I did a little small giveaway when I got monetized. That wasn't last month. I think it was the month before.
Oh, congrats. That's awesome.
Thanks. And I gave a
little. That's my next goal. One of these days. I need a live stream. I just don't do it. I go on everyone else's live streams, but I don't do it myself.
You're going to be there in no time. Trust me. This community is so supportive on all that stuff. Just make one half-hour video, and that's going to be like everybody will watch that, and then you'll get monetized.
Well, I'm trying. There's so much going on. It's an exciting time right now. And, the holidays coming up, I'm just trying to plan out like what would be fun, good content with the stuff I'm interested and I'm passionate about to put out there. And I'm just so thankful, Mandalorian. We're going to talk about that. And I'm so happy what has happened since it came out. Cause like I have spent obviously like half of my channel is the Mandalorian right now. And it was a risk. I mean, especially with Rise of Skywalker trailer, when it came out, I was like, God, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? Like, I should know better than this. But all of my videos now are getting a lot of looks now because people who have seen my review recently of The Mandalorian, they're like, okay, well, look at other stuff she has. So it was a good play in the end, but very risky on my part. And I should have known better. Next time, I'm probably going to play it safer and keep my eggs in different baskets.
I don't know. I feel like with you, the way you've been covering the Mandalorian content and the way that you've handled everything, and you're going to be on Nerdrotics on Friday and stuff. Like I think people will catch on enough to know that your channel is the one to go to, and just a couple shares here and there, your name and if you tag it right with stuff, I mean, you could hit that 50,000 mark or something easily.
Well, here's to hoping. Yes.
What's your video count, or your video count on your Mandalorian videos as of late?
I mean, all of them. I have no idea. I don't even keep track of that right now. I'm just the only thing I can easily like off the top of my head tell you are sub counts, and my highest the most views like in a day on one of my Mandalorian videos, which for me, I've only been around since October. Since I've only been around since October 11th was my first upload day. And I'd say in one day, the most views one of my Mandalorian videos have gotten is 1,000, which for me is that's good for me. So
it's always a good milestone.
Yeah, and it was my live stream directly after a live stream, which usually those don't do that. Right after The Mandalorian, when it was still, a lot of people didn't realize it was even out yet. I got on. I jumped on right after Gary jumped off because all these people in the chat were like, "Where do we go next? Where do we go next?"
Yep,
I'm like,
I was on my way to bed, and I'm like, Gary, okay, Geeky's. She's like, okay.
Yeah, you were there. Thank you for stopping by. I know you were tired. You had to go, and I didn't blame you. You saw me yawning like a crazy person. I was like, I should not be here, but
you're like, I got to talk about the Mandalorian.
Yeah, if the opportunity presents itself, I'm gonna take it. Yes. So yeah,
which is also very good with YouTube. To be first is like very rare.
Yeah. So that live stream, that the Monday Night Football trailer, that last final trailer for The Mandalorian that came out, I was the first upload to show that trailer to everybody that didn't have ESPN on YouTube, and my video was directly under Star Wars. I was the number 2 video. If you search Monday Night Football and incognito, you could search it and it still came up. I was like, whoa, I'm really lucky. So that was my other big one I had, which was nice. But then quickly, a few hours later, more people that were established, they had theirs, but that's okay. It felt good for a little bit.
Well, and I like that's your niche right now, and it's like the perfect timing to have the Mandalorian be one of the niches. So that's great.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so we're gonna start talking about the Mandalorian a little more in just a little bit, but before that, I keep on forgetting to give shout outs to my patrons.
Yeah. Oh, you got patrons?
Like, yes, right. I've got, shout out to my patrons. I've got Christy Miller. I've got Tariel G, Abio Lace. I've got Tito's World, Mongo's Big Thinks, and those 2 bald guys. I appreciate their support very much because as a film guy and trying to do all these huge film projects, like in the one in the beginning with all the energy and stuff, it takes a lot of effort, a lot of work, a lot of time. So
editing sucks. That's my thing I've learned lately. Like editing for me, it takes forever.
Yeah. So supporting the Patreon really helps me out big time on this stuff. Like the amount that they did when they're supporting me, I was able to afford the tomatoes for my stop motion thing. Also, I don't think you've seen my Rotten Tomatoes stop motion thing, but it is very funny because I took like Doomcock and Anna and Jeremy and EBS and stuff, and like took sound clips from them, had their crop out of their face over mine, and like I'd act it out with the body, and I'd have stop motion tomatoes, and then a slaughtering of them just being destroyed in multiple ways. And they're like, oh, praise the goddess Brie Larson. They're just,
that's hilarious.
This is the Captain Marvel stuff, and Rotten Tomatoes is being ridiculous. So I called it.
It is ridiculous.
Within my Rookie's Quest trilogy, I called it Game of Tomatoes. So Game of Thrones.
I got it. Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Now that I've actually watched some Game of Thrones, now I can make it even better, and I already have plans for that as well, along with my big movie project.
Like you could do a recreation of the Red Tomato Wedding.
Possibly, yes. Which, a lot of people don't agree with me, but like maybe it's because people told me that the Red Wedding is such this fantastic moment. I wasn't as amazed by it. I was just kind of like, well, yeah, I kind of figured that guy would die. I was just
it caught some people that are, I guess, oblivious to the storyline in general. I guess caught them off guard a little bit. I mean, it did get a little grotesque at parts. I was like, whoa, because the books. I mean, it goes into detail in the books, but when you see it on an HBO show in the HBO fashion, it takes to the next level.
It's like there was like 3 weddings announced at the time, so I was like, I don't know which one it's going to be at and who's going to get offed or not. So I was like, I don't know which one it's going to be. I assumed it was going to be in King's Landing, but no. So I was like, oh well, all right. And it seemed, because the guy they're doing the deal with, I'm like, he seems to hate them. So it seemed obvious to me that he's going to kill them or betray them in some way.
But then Arya got them back. So good.
Yes, and I think soon, this week or next week, I'm going to upload an actual small review, because I've done live streams talking about my Game of Thrones progress, coming into it after I've heard all the stuff about season 8 and stuff, and haven't watched it until now. Yeah, this is my first time. It was my first walkthrough watching Game of Thrones. And I'm halfway through season 4 right now. Just past the episode where the Night King touches the baby and turns his eyes blue. That's where I'm at.
Yeah.
And which everybody's saying that's peak Game of Thrones. But we'll see. Some people are like, stop at the end of the season, don't go any further. I'm like, I gotta see how, I have to see myself how this goes from the most beloved show.
It'll be a crazy since you're so fresh on knowing exactly what's going on. You haven't waited a year between the seasons. It's going to be really interesting for you to have the immediate like juxtaposition of what happens then to what was going on every other season, like the complete reversal of character types and arcs and stuff. It's great. I'm excited for you. That's gonna be fun. Then you can be pissed off like the rest of us.
Exactly. Well, and I invite people to join me in the conversation, because like when I do the live streams about them, it's like I've had Angus and Snowdub and Nerdrotic, who was listening in one time. He would have come in too, but he was busy. I was like, okay, well, so it's fun talking about that stuff, I'll admit. But anyway, so I'm going to invite Kermit the Log in here in just a moment. Great. And before that, I wanted to mention, so you've heard about the COPPA thing, right? The COPPA rules that YouTube's been doing for like trying to, you have to label your channel as
I just took care of that yesterday. So make sure I never will claim my videos to be good for kids. Like I just went ahead and defaulted to nah.
Yeah, no. And that's exactly what I recommend everybody do, because a lot of people have been confused on if that's going to drop their audience or that's going to do anything. But I mean, thinking about it, it's like, I doubt that there's anybody that's under 15 that watches any of our channels, because it's all directed toward, adults anyway, for the most part.
Well, so my video gameplay does, but I mean, Call of Duty Modern Warfare, typically you're not, I mean, it's like, but you get a lot of kids playing those games. Like you get cussed out by 12-year-olds most of the time. It's an experience, let me tell you.
Of course.
So that I can see it affecting gameplay live streams for sure. Because kids are on those all the time.
That makes sense. But I guess I suppose for like the people that have been doing this for a year or so, that have been doing the Star Wars and extra content, have fuck this movie. I doubt that the little ones are watching it, but if they have, I don't think it's ever been a problem. And even if you say it's not safe for them, I'm really curious on how YouTube controls their watching ability of it. Like unless they're signed in as a child account to watch something, I don't see how they'd be able to block it either. So.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe not have them recommended in Star Wars videos if they type in Star Wars, but
it'll be interesting to see everybody's analytics after a few months of this change, just to see what if all things else remain the same. Oh, hi, look at that little green thing. Sup?
Hi, rookie. Hi, Geeky Candi.
I saw you the other night with Fatal talking smack about me.
Was I? What I said?
I see you blushing.
It was good. No, I was literally I was swiping through my YouTube feed, and you know how like sometimes the subtitles just pop up when you're not watching a video. But
it'll just start playing
and
for
literally
you.
The first thing that pops up is Geeky Candi as I'm swiping. I'm like, okay, I gotta watch this. That's what I saw you in Fatal. It was pretty funny. The timing just happened to be perfect.
I really hope I wasn't talking about wearing people's faces at that moment.
That was good.
At that moment, yes. But I'm going to read the chat for a sec. Just 1 sec, Kermit. So let's see. Riot Kitty says, the COPPA, what a storm it's brewing over that. I suppose soon I'll have to default probably to not for kids. Yeah, I mean, your content, Riot, I'm not sure. Yours might be safe for kids, though, because she covers like Ruby and these other anime type stuff. So those might be safe for kids. But then again, I don't know if those shows are aimed for kids anyway. So I'm not sure.
Yeah.
In the words of Gordon, fuck them kids.
Yes. And we got the script doctor says, according to his analytics, his audience is 24 to 35-year-olds. So the not for kids section has been selected, and it should be all good in that regards. Yeah, I'm just pretty sure that there's not like, 12-year-old comes home from school and then brings up Doomcock. Like, I just don't know about that. Or Jeremy, imagine.
I'm wondering if this is also for advertisers to better market where their videos are going, to make sure like if they're going to spend money that it's going to go into the checked mark ones for kids versus not kids, because then it would make it smarter. Yeah.
That is part of it. So some people were worried that there's going to be like a humongous drop in your revenue percentage, but I just don't know exactly how that's determined. But I do think that it's kind of like what you just said. Like this will let the advertisers choose. Okay, so you do not have kid products, then we won't put that on your thing. We'll put these products on your thing.
So here's the question I pose for you. Say you have a Star Wars channel. You cover all things Star Wars, including things like the PG-13 and TV-14. That's like, The Mandalorian and, things that are teenager and up. Would Star Wars commercials or advertisements be able to be viewed on your channel if it's not for kids? See, that's the weird thing.
That's a moral thing with Lucasfilm and Disney in general, I would say, because they're like, we're for kids. Well, they're supposed to be for family. So that's very vague in how that is. And
I just find it ironic. That's ironic to me, because then if you do dictate that your channel is not for kids, then you could essentially eliminate the ability for the advertisers that your channel is literally all about to be able to advertise on your channel. The irony, I caught it. Did you?
That is pretty funny. Well, it's like when I posted my video, said that I'm not getting Disney Plus. The ad for it was a thing to get you to get Disney Plus. It's a pretty funny thing.
It's like their way of trying to get people who make Disney content to make friendly family content. So if you make Disney content, you probably can't swear now.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. It's like, with my videos, they're technically all safe for kids, but I do curse quite a bit, which they would go, that's bad, it's naughty. So probably not that. And I mean, it's not like it's kind of thing where you're not likely going to have a discussion with a kid on here. So we're all with the adults. So I just wanted to get that out of the way. I feel like some people weren't sure. I mean, I clicked the "it's not for kids" thing, and so I don't know. I haven't noticed any difference so far. We'll see.
I was wondering about my channel because obviously I am a frog, and then I have Skeletor on one of my thumbnails, and it looks very friendly.
There's no way in hell you're safe for kids, Kermit.
I know. That's I'm definitely.
You look cute and cuddly from afar.
Yeah.
But once they get to know you,
I hope I'm the most.
You're a wolf in frog's clothing, is what you are.
I like you.
You talking?
Yeah. So, all right. With all that out of the way, now we can talk about the Mandalorian. Why not? I was able to get a copy, as well as Kermit was able to as well, even though we aren't on Disney. We know a guy. Our brother's friend has Disney Plus or something. So
our matey. Yes, I understand. Yes. I know that friend.
Yes, thank you. But so I feel like Mandy is or not Mandy. I got it six up. Man, I was thinking your last name, and so I was doing that. Candace is the expert on the Mandalorian, and I feel like you should start.
I am the Mandalorian. Okay, you guys. The Mandalorian.
You
heard it here first.
You can take the lead. Yeah, you should go first with your thoughts on the Mandalorian.
Do you have any specific questions, or just overall thought about it, or what? I mean, because I can take this take this a while.
I don't know where to start with it because I just saw it today, and it's just I could start giving my opinion.
I'm going to start generalities then, and we can whittle down to some specifics later if we find ourselves so inclined to.
There will be spoilers. I'm going to put that in the chat too.
Yes, so. I will not go on a live stream without saying that, because I know myself. And I can't help it. So, so generally speaking, I'd say this is a successful show. I think obviously the Rotten Tomatoes anomaly, which is what this is, it's an anomaly. The fact that both the audience and so far the critics score, even though they don't have a consensus yet because it's still brand new out there, they're both hitting close to each other in the numbers in the 90s, high 80s and 90s. So that in of itself is pretty good evidence that I think that Disney was in a tough spot. You're not going to recreate what was. You can't, because those people are gone. The people that made it what it was, most of them aren't in the business or have passed and gone beyond us. So and so there's a certain level of acceptance that we have to go through, and perhaps that's in the 7 stages of grief, and some of us are still in denial, but that's okay. We can all get there eventually. Yes. With that being said, I think that Disney hit a sweet spot here. I think that they were able to walk the balance on that tightrope, if you will, between keeping nostalgia there while still introducing parts of wonder for us. Wonder meaning new things that drew us in, but nostalgia meaning the things that were familiar and that we could made obvious reference to in the originals, which Jon Favreau was quoted as saying many times that this is a love letter to the originals. He is a super fan himself of Star Wars, and I think that you have to start a team with producers like that to be able to take on this, what could have been a huge disaster. The very first live action series, 12 to 15 million per episode, and each episode 35 minutes after you take away the credits. I mean, that's a big chunk of change.
Yes.
And so with this success that they are having right now, relative success with this first episode, again, we're just talking first chapter here, because we've got a whole series to go through, and who knows where the plot's going to lead us. I'd say that there's a lot of thinking going on in LucasArts right now, because they've got to figure out, well, they got Obi-Wan production for live action coming up next. They've got the new trilogy movies. Where are they going to put this kind of money if they see this reaction for this styling of the show? I find it interesting. I wish I was a fly on the wall, honestly, just listening in on some of the executives talk about it.
This is their good testing in the waters. It's like, from the way you made that sound, is as if it's kind of like The Force Awakens, what they wanted with The Force Awakens, but they failed at pretty much. This isn't a copy of anything, but it still is giving you something new and makes you feel it without it being shoved. Look at the Death Star, isn't this bigger? So that sounds good. It sounds pretty good.
And unlike the Skywalker saga, what they were doing to me, it made no sense. They're bringing back characters we really didn't care about. Okay, and by that I mean like the Palpatine thing. Okay. Yeah. And they got rid of characters that we did care about. And so it was confusing. And so it feels like here they may not be bringing back a lot of characters that we're familiar with. Not yet. There might be some cameos of some throughout this series.
Probably.
But yeah. But it feels like they're at least bringing back the types of characters that we had wanted to see. And so like the when you just look through the cantina and you spot a Rodian, I know Rodians are very popular. People like them. They love the Greedo. Okay. And just seeing that, I bet that made a lot of people smile because they recognized him right away. It wasn't Greedo, but it was a brown Rodian, and that was good enough.
Right.
So little things like that, I think they matter.
I like seeing the squid guy in the beginning.
The Quarren. Yes.
Because he's one of the Akbar civilization, kind of like, well, not the same species, but on the same planet of them, and they're not just politics or dudes that don't do nothing. They can be, try to be badasses,
right?
At least. So I was like, that's good. Yeah, it felt like how Star Wars should, a good mixture of aliens and humans and robots and stuff. It wasn't, it wasn't so detached and weird as it was in The Force Awakens, where it's like, do they exist or not? Do they still a thing? No, okay,
right.
Yeah. What are your thoughts, Kermit, as a creature yourself? What do you feel about that? Or do you feel properly represented in The Mandalorian?
I kind of do at the end.
You what?
At the end. I definitely did at the end.
Oh, okay. Yes, with the green. Yes. Your long lost cousin, per se.
Yeah, we're doing spoilers though, right?
Yes. Go ahead and let it out. We all know what happens.
I think that's Yoda. I think it is Yoda. I think it's a clone of Yoda.
A clone of Yoda.
Yeah, because I think the Empire seemed to know about it, and that makes me think that it was one of Palpatine's secret projects.
Yeah, I mentioned that as well because of the weird conversation and dialogue between the client and Dr. Pershing. Dr. Pershing is going to be an interesting character in this series to watch out for. He's the one that interjected the client two times when the client was talking to the Mandalorian, and the client commanded a lot of respect with the way his style was. I mean, you could tell he's the big boss, he was a boss man. And, he interjected and said alive right away because he wanted the bounty alive for certain reasons. So that's why my mind went to possibly DNA or something that has to do with the health of the species. And then the other thing he interjected is saying once Werner Herzog said that really great line about, he said, what was it? I know that bounty hunting is a complicated profession, like that. He essentially indicated that he would prefer alive, but he understands that because things can get sloppy, he'll take proof of death with a lower fee. And immediately Dr. Pershing interjects again, saying, "That's not what we agreed on." So, obviously, there is conflict there, and I'm interested to see how that relationship progresses between those two, and just kind of where that goes, like what that's plot line is all about there, because it's an interesting one for me, and it stood out right away because later on you have the conflict with IG-11 and the Mandalorian, who when they spot little baby Yoda, we'll just call him little baby Yoda, little Yoda. You know, when they spotted him, IG-11 immediately said he had explicit, he was explicitly told to terminate this target. And that was the exact opposite of what our protagonist was told. And yet they were supposedly in the same guild with the same bounty. And that just, someone's pulling some strings in the background, and I'm interested to know who.
I think it's a backup plan to kill him just in case the good guys get him. They don't want that to happen, so kill the baby no matter what.
That's a good theory, possibly. Yeah, that's what I like that too. Just the fact that it's like still a former Imperial guy with his little crew in the place that was doing this mission in the first place, and the baby obviously was of some importance to the Empire, I suppose, and could have been a long time planned thing. One thing though, I liked how the stormtroopers were like disheveled, but I also was confused as to why they'd be wearing the armor post Empire when most of the galaxy didn't has revolted against what was left.
So that area is a safe haven for the Outer Rim. Were most of the planets of the Outer Rim are areas that were considered safe for them to be in. These were where the lowlives were to begin with. They could walk freely in their stormtrooper armor, all they would want, and it wouldn't be an issue. That's why they went there. But because there's no Empire to take care of them, they still look the way they do.
Okay, but I mean, wasn't Tatooine technically part of the Outer Rim before, and then the Empire occupied them, or did they just kind of visit them? Or
okay, so I don't think that the Empire occupied. I could be wrong, but I mean, there's Jabba was there. They had their fair share of lowlives.
Well, yeah, but in A New Hope, with the Empire being there, was it just because the Empire was chasing the cruiser and then went there, or? I
don't know. I don't know exactly the answer to that, so I don't want to say, because I know someone will call me out, and I don't want that to happen. So I'm going to just say I don't know for sure. I could Wikipedia it, but
otherwise, I'm sure that the thing makes sense. But I was just confused if they took over the Outer Rim or not as the Empire. I don't know.
Okay, so nobody has taken over really anything. They're all kind of fighting for power at this point. So there's actually different factions of the Empire still out there. In fact, we haven't been introduced to one of them yet. It is a main character, Giancarlo Esposito, the guy from Breaking Bad. He is going to be playing Moff Gideon in this, which, as you guys I'm sure are aware, that Moff is like an Imperial officer title, generally a little bit higher up. And so he has a battalion of death troopers with him. And so he has an encounter with our Mandalorian at some point too. And so I think that we're going to be seeing a clash of a lot of infighting with the different factions that are left over from the Empire.
Okay, that'd be great to see. To be honest, that's what we kind of wanted with the movies a little bit, I think.
Yeah.
Some of us anyway, post Return of the Jedi.
I have a question to pose to you guys, because I've been really paying attention to a lot of other people's criticisms, and I've been trying to get just to understand them. So when people ask me stuff, I can kind of understand their viewpoint better. Okay. And one of the things that pops up, I have a couple that I wanted to pose with you guys. One of them is, why not just Boba Fett's story? And I wanted to get y'all's take on it and then kind of talk about it myself too. So I was curious what y'all think about why you would want or not want Boba Fett.
I'll let you go first, Kermit.
I wouldn't want Boba Fett because I'd want it to be that actor from the prequel trilogy. You know, the clone of him.
Yeah, the guy who played Jango.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah.
I don't know how they would do that. I mean, if they could make that happen, then that's what I would like to see. But
does it make you any more upset that it isn't Boba Fett, or are you like, I don't care, it's just still Mandalorian, so it's all right?
If it would have been totally woke and a shit show, then I would go mad.
Okay, but that's where the standard lies. I got it. Yeah, that's good.
It did okay. To me, it was a little overrated from all the praise I heard from everybody. I was expecting to see The Empire Strikes Back 2.0. You know,
no, we'll never get that.
I know.
No, that's my favorite.
I still really I enjoyed it, but I'm still not sold. You know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, to me, it kind of feels like, in a way, not in the same way, but similar to like Game of Thrones episode 1, to where like it's very slow paced, and I didn't really. Well, you're not as invested in that episode yet. You're just kind of like,
character building.
Like we're here, but like where are we going? I don't know yet. It took me, until halfway through the season 1 of Game of Thrones to actually go, okay, now we're going over here. Okay,
right.
Now we're good. Okay, so it took
and that's the benefit to having an established character like Boba Fett being the main protagonist in this story. You would be able to forego the character building essentially. But in the same token, if you decided that you were one of the people that said it should have been a Boba Fett story, then you're eliminating the option of creativity to build a storyline, because you're forcing yourself into a corner. And this is what happens with Hollywood lately, is that they try to appeal to parts of a character's history and forego the other parts, and then people get pissed because then it's either all or nothing. And then the people that are pissed, sometimes they'll say, oh, it's the same thing, gosh, couldn't they come up with something new? And then there's other people like, gosh, I really wish it was that guy instead. It's like you really can't please them.
Person on, but you could have had the old one that could have survived or something.
So they took a highly recognizable character and developed a new version of him to open up the idea of a background that could build upon itself for a series like this. Makes sense for me. And the people that do request that are upset because it's not a real Boba Fett, I think that they're going to have them, if they stick with the series, I think they'll understand why that's the case. And it is not going to be Boba Fett. That's not a reveal. Everyone is like talking about it. Like, that's not going to be a thing. Don't worry about it.
I tell it's not going to be Boba Fett, and I'm actually glad that they went with the new character.
And it's not going to be a female. It's not going to be a Boba Fett. I will officially confirm that now for everybody.
They didn't say for sure it's not Boba Fett, though, right?
So both Jon Favreau and Pedro Pascal have both confirmed it multiple times in interviews that it's not. But somehow the rumor perpetuates itself, and it's not going to be the case. Because again, Jon Favreau is not stupid. He's not going to corner himself like that. He knows better. He's a smart producer. And I think the attention to detail in the very first episode for a lot of different things can kind of attest to that. So, I mean, he'd lose all that creative ability if he did that.
Yeah, no, but I'm glad that they went with a new character, because one, he doesn't have too much dialogue. He has enough dialogue to progress with the story. I kind of even liked how they had him try to learn how to ride the glue block or whatever the thing was. Or the blurred, yeah. Like, because, you see the Mandalorian armor and you think Boba Fett and you think Jango Fett and you think these guys are the badasses in the galaxy. They can just do whatever and have no problem. Like, you would never see them slip over a banana or nothing. They can't because they're so cool.
But they're essentially infallible until they meet a Sarlacc pit.
Right. Pretty much. Yeah, that's a good point. Or a lightsaber,
Yeah.
But I kind of like seeing him attempt to get on it and fail. And, it's like, he even, got almost taken out by them pretty much. Right. And that was already good, because it shows that he's not a
vulnerability.
Vulnerability.
Exactly. They did that in the first episode, and they haven't done that yet with Rey. So that's just another thing that they just keep doing right.
and he's not like, why'd you help me, bastard? He's like, thank you. Okay. He understands that. It seems like he doesn't want to just instantly burn a bridge where he doesn't need to. So his attitude is good enough to continue, and like he wasn't a total douche to the blue-faced dude, but still just froze him anyway, which is kind of funny with that thing. And it's like, I don't know, it just seems fine to me. If it was Boba Fett, you'd have this already preset idea of his personality of like chilling with the ladies and doing whatever. But I'm glad that they did it with just the Mandalorian, and I don't even know if we got his name exactly yet. And I kind of like that history. Some of the shots are good around him. The way they show his persona when he's with the robot, with the droid trying to fight with them. He's like he wanted to do it his own way. That would have been probably way more stealthy. Probably only taking out 2 or 3 people and still getting the bounty. Where he just comes in and does that. So you can tell.
Didn't you love how the Mandalorian had his own 360 shoot 'em up moment, just like IG-11 did? How fun was that? On the gun turret, he jumped around because IG-11 was doing the 360s left and right.
Yeah.
And Pedro just found a gun turret, wrist grappled himself onto it, and had his own 360 moment. I just like that.
I'll admit that was cool, but there was just a few moments in that fight scene that I would criticize that were kind of stupid. Based on the bad
like the
guys.
Random push the guy.
I think Ryan mentioned that in your guys' review.
Yeah, I spotted that too, but I was like,
could have had a knife and, at least had a knife or a shotgun laser and
I think that some of it went just a tad bit too long. They really embellished some moments more than they needed to. Yeah. Just some minor tweaks on the cutting floor could have. Yeah, I think they should have kept a part that when he was with Quill, there's a lot of missed I think there was a lot of relationship stuff that they cut at that time because it felt very rushed. All of a sudden he met Quill, went to his place, had tea, and then started riding bareback. I can understand the people not feeling that was very organic the way that worked out.
If they had an extra 10 minutes, I think that the scenes would have flowed a little bit nicer. And honestly, some of them could have had a little less music playing at all. Just kind of let you take in the sounds of the scene and the people and whatnot. Yes. And also, like with the fight scene, I think you could have just had even a few less people there to shoot against, because it seemed like you were already outnumbered by quite a bit. But then they have to another kill.
Yeah, it was like a bunch of waves. Waves coming at you.
That just kind of seems ridiculous because he's like peeks out full view, shoots, and then gets a guy and another guy. It's just like
it felt like there was some cuts there too that probably made it a little bit disjointed. I don't know, because it just feels like again, this was a 35-minute episode, and although some people would say that not a lot happened, a lot actually did. There was more world building in this, I'd say, than any one of the single, like the last 3 or 2, 3, whatever, Skywalker films. You know what I mean? I just feel like they went the extra mile with that. There's a lot of scenes of him walking through alleyways in the marketplaces where you just get a bunch of beautiful eye candy, basically, of all of the creatures inhabiting that area. And, those could have been cut scenes to allow for probably more time to maybe make those other scenes we were complaining about a little bit more jointed. But, they had to call them where they called them.
I mean, I feel like that's what makes it Star Wars, though. In a way, it's like it's its own universe, and this time they're telling a different type of story. It's not the hero's journey from Luke's view. It's this we don't know yet really what this guy's story is. He's a bounty hunter trying to make money right now. That's all we know. But good glimpses that he had when they said the purge, I immediately assumed
the Great Purge.
I assumed they meant the Jedi Purge, but I assume there's more purges that happened.
There is. Okay, so this is unique to the story, though. The Great Purge is when it was a time in which the Empire basically reclaimed all of the Mandalorian Beskar, which, as we found out, is one of the most precious things to the Mandalorians in general. It's essentially religion to them. The way that they shot the armory was a lot like an altar with a priestess, not an armor, not a smelting device with the armorer. It was highly ritualistic, and he even kneeled in front of her. And so I might go into that a little bit more in detail later. But oh, hi, Snow Dove. Oh yeah, you go. You can come back later. It's just one of those things. I think I don't know. It feels like the Great Purge essentially is just that they took it all. And that's why there's the Imperial insignia on all of the bars. And it was why you have a close-up when the armorer takes it back. She applauds the Mandalorian for getting it back to the tribe, she says. And there's a moment where we literally just sit staring at it as it melts away the insignia. So there's a lot going on there between the relationship of the Empire and the Mandalorians. And I think we're going to find out some more of that, later in the series for sure.
That'll be some good tension. What are your thoughts, Kermit? Little frog?
I was losing sound on that. I couldn't hear the last couple seconds of what you were saying.
Oh, sorry.
She was just talking about how there's going to be it seems like there's a lot of tension between the Empire and the Mandalorians.
It seems like there's tension between the Mandalorians and everybody, though. I mean, they seem pretty on their own.
Yes.
But that's what I really liked about the character was that, he really he's doing it for his people and which is like his family almost,
the
a
tribe.
Large family. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It gives you an intimacy with the character that I think it is so great. It's, like you said, something that we haven't gotten in any of the recent films.
Right. Even the music as you enter the armorer area, the armory. I hate saying that. Armory. It turns into tribal drums as you walk in closer to it, and it's just and further kind of like emphasize the close knit space that this is, where you have Mandalorians just lulling around, and you've got even little children, the foundlings, just hanging out, running around too. It's like a sanctuary, if you will. And I like what you said, Kermit, about how like nobody likes them, because it's true. These guys are unique in the sense that they're bounty hunters with a code. They pride in their code. And there's factions in this bounty hunting business right now, it seems, when he meets with Grief Karga and he's like, what do you have for me? And there's not much out there. And he goes, is it slow? And Grief's like, no, it's booming business. But a lot of people aren't wanting to pay right now the guild prices because they don't mind it being sloppy. So you are obviously seeing that there's a lot of people that are willing to basically become assassins, not bounty hunters, because the money is good over there. But our Mandalorian isn't one of them. They have a code and they get mocked and criticized for it, which we kind of saw with the trawlers in the first cantina.
That's a good point. That's a good point. I didn't think about it like that at first, but that's a good point there.
They're very strict with their code.
With the code. Yeah, that's a good point with the guy trying to bribe him and stuff too. She's like, no, it's not what we're doing today. And he seems like he has
integrity.
They seem more like assassins in the sense of Assassin's Creed, where like the whole point of the game is to like sneak around and then get your one kill rather than kill 50 people. It's like you'd just rather do the one and then get what you need. Keep it
business. Right. That's what he does. Yeah.
You don't have to get blood on my clothes. I don't know how many times would he have to wash his armor. Every time he tries to kill everybody. So
exactly.
That makes sense. I don't know. You mentioned the score a second ago. Yeah, I've heard a lot of complaints about
that. Was another thing I wanted to bring up. Yeah.
Yeah, I was okay with it for the most part. It's just sometimes in shows in general and in movies, they feel like if there's no dialogue going on, they need to play something, so there's noise. And I'm like, I'd rather have just kind of heard the people and stuff around. Sometimes you don't need to have music, just kind of setting the tone for you.
Yeah,
or you could just let the scene play itself, and then add the music where you need to sometimes. But sometimes you could have cut out like get 30 seconds of music, and I would have been more happy. But that's only my only complaint. I was fine with the music choices. It's stuff that doesn't sound exactly like John Williams, but it's
it's nothing like John Williams. It's not anywhere close to John Williams, and for good reason, I think. Because
I actually felt good with that because you hear him in everything you watch, pretty much. Harry Potter, can't think of anything else at the moment. He's in everything. He's in everything.
2, Lost in New York.
Yes.
He's like everything in your childhood practically was John Williams.
Pretty much, exactly. So like I'm okay not having that, especially it being in a Western type thing. I wouldn't mind the type of whistly stuff. That's not my favorite genre of any kind, but I like it because it's different than what I'm used to watching right now. So I'm good with that. So.
What about you, Kermit? What do you think about the music?
I thought it was pretty lame. I thought it seemed like they didn't spend much money on it. I wasn't that impressed with it. I just started watching again last night or this morning the Clone Wars cartoon show, and I would have I know they can't get John Williams, but I would have liked something like that. This didn't seem like the Star Wars music at all to me. It sounded like I was watching just some show on Channel 7 or something.
Yeah, so I agree. It caught me off guard the first watch, and I did a little digging and I did a little research because I love the show, and in the sense that I like deep diving and figuring out why things were what production. I like the production stuff behind this show. I'm very interested in it.
Yeah,
and
me too.
So John Williams is retiring after the Rise of Skywalker, which is the real tragedy of all of that. By the way, that's the real tragedy.
Well, I feel like that man deserves the best rest ever with all this.
Well, I think he's just retiring from that franchise. I don't think he's retiring completely, but
oh my gosh, he's in an air.
Yeah, but he might be just cutting things down a little bit because this franchise probably took up the most time at anything. But with that being said, he left such a mark on this franchise. When you hear his music, and I think that to find somebody who is great to replace him, they're not going to want to imitate him. Do you know what I'm saying? They're going to come with their own, and they're going to try their best to make it work the best that they can. So what they ended up doing is finding a 35-year-old Swedish guy named Ludwig Göransson. Ludwig Göransson did the musical soundtrack for Creed. Which one? Rocky, Creed. And that's really the only major work he had. And so they found somebody young. They're grooming him to hopefully develop somebody that can be really just all Star Wars, like John Williams did for a lot of it. And he took like a recorder and a flute and talked to Jon Favreau and tried to develop some basic like modern Western elements off of the good, bad, and the ugly sort of vibes of that soundtrack. So, and there was moments even that was kind of funny. There was one moment, and I'm mentioning this in my review tomorrow. One of my favorite soundtracks ever that's really understated is GoldenEye. And the GoldenEye overture has these heavy chimes, kind of like if you ever remember playing GoldenEye in the complex room. That's the one that they always played that overture in. Then you hear these like really dark chimes kind of playing a little bit, and they had that same sound a couple times in The Mandalorian too. So it was a weird callback for me. I was like thinking of James Bond for a minute, but yeah. So anyway, the music for me had great moments, and it also had some not so great moments, but I think that there is room to grow with this guy. So that's where I stand on that anyway.
I wish it would have been a Western, even more Western would have been better to me. Then I would have been like, okay, it's a Western. We're watching a Western, but it felt like all over the map to me. Like I don't know.
Yeah, modern Western is not the same as Western, and that's what we realized last night, or whenever we thought.
I actually agree with you, Candace, on that, and I actually like their decision to do that because in Dragon Ball, in the Japanese anime, the main guy Akira Toriyama has been the main guy that would make the whole show, basically the main creator of the show, and the drawings and the artists and everything. But he's trying to find people that can replace him, that when he's done, other people can do his work for him. And in Dragon Ball Super, their latest show that they've done before, he had this guy who's actually a fan, and I think he's doing the manga or something. I'm not sure what all the specifics are on that. I'm not up to date on my Dragon Ball stuff, but he's trying to groom some people too. In Dragon Ball Super, the first 5 episodes looked kind of bad animation wise. There are some moments that have these weird, just jerky faces on the screen for a second. You're like, what the hell is that? This is Dragon Ball. How could you have this horrible thing in the show? But it's they had newer staff that are trying to learn the ways and get it right. And later, there's lots of still some spotchy moments here and there, but also fantastic moments. So for the newer guys, that was pretty good and well done. So same with Star Wars. I feel like that we're kind of probably going to get that throughout The Mandalorian. It's their first test run on this baby. So, we'll see some rocky stuff at first. And then as it goes, maybe the composition is going to be better.
Maybe. I mean, there's hoping. I mean, this is a first live action series. There's going to be lots of rocky points. And I think that the music definitely has room to improve. But there were things I did enjoy from it too. Yeah,
true. We got a $2 super chat from George Big Dick Lucas. Says, stuff people don't like are direct from TV Western. I don't know. The stuff that they don't like?
I think he means that some of the things that people are not enjoying, or some of the criticisms about maybe the music are legit straight from some of the, I guess there is a lot. Okay, so I've seen it 6 times. Okay. I've watched it specifically for the music, and unless you do that, I don't think you can appreciate it, some of the musical choices. But for most people, they only see it once or twice, and so it doesn't hit them the way that they intended it to. For people like me who overindulge and see it way too many times, so so for that, I think they need to make sure to change it up just a little bit, so more people understand why. They can it makes sense. It feels like it meshes well with the scene that it's playing in, and I think that they missed that a few times.
Right.
Yeah.
Any last thoughts on the score, guys? Kermit?
I hope it gets better. You guys like it? I don't love it, but
no, I like parts.
I said I'm okay with it, and I'm expecting it to get better. So
yeah.
it didn't like ruin the show for me. I still liked the first episode. You know, I'd give it like a B.
Yeah. Oh, that's generous. Yeah. Yeah. I'd say like a B- for me because I enjoyed parts, but I'm on the fence because you know, again, I understand their point. They don't want to. You can't recreate John Williams. To do that would be a fail. You're putting yourself in an. It's not.
Of course.
I feel like that type of profession, it comes from a soul. It comes from the soul, you know, and you can't expect someone to be the same in that regard.
You can't copy it and have it feel the same. Yeah.
The artistic nature behind it is it's not copy. You can't copy it. So what choice did they have, you know, to find someone close to him in styling and still wouldn't have been good enough. People would have been able to tell the difference. So they went with something completely new.
Yeah.
I was the overall show a B. Not the score. I was giving the show a B overall.
Oh, the B. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, which I think it's hard to judge the whole show yet on the first episode. Like, if I were to judge Game of Thrones on its first episode, I didn't even want to watch the rest of the show. When I first saw it, I was like, eh. So we'll see.
Pilots, it's tough to throw a good pilot out because you know you've got a lot. You have a lot on the plate to introduce to somebody in a 35-minute period of time. And make a good storyline out of it that could sit alone on itself. And it's tough to do that.
Yes.
You know, as you're aware.
I really liked the 35-minute time. I felt like it should have been longer. In my opinion. Like a Game of Thrones episode maybe would have been better.
Yeah.
Well, it's not just Game of Thrones. Like a lot of shows these days, like even like on the Arrowverse and stuff, like the 50 minutes is around the time for the show. Sometimes an hour, but 50 minutes is like the normal. I'd say, for a lot of shows without any commercials.
I'm also kind of not as hopeful as maybe I should be because I think it's strategic by Disney not to release it all at once, you know. And I think if it was so good, they would have just let it go. If they knew it was so great, let it go.
No, I don't know. I don't think they want to.
Standpoint, the profit margins are going. It's becoming so competitive in the streaming business right now that they're having to make changes on the binge watching models.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, what's happening is by allowing it to go, and it's not even a weekly drop. We got the first one Monday. We're getting the second one Friday. Okay. It's allowing for people to market it the way we do. Here in between, we're talking about it still. We're giving it
discussion
space still. We're establishing community around it. I'm going to be covering The Expanse December 13th when that drops on Amazon Prime, and they're doing the binge model drop of all of it. And I've talked to Gary about it. He hates the fact that we can't really put any kind of good content. You
have to binge the whole show and then try to get your thoughts on the whole show and then get that out there. And it's just all a blur of stuff, which is we actually talked about this on Kalia's the Cinema Queens stream. Nerdotic was on there and we were talking, and it's just like, you know, we the release when it's a new show and it releases week by week or something, that gives you more time to digest it and enjoy it. And if you still want to binge stuff, if you prefer binging, you can wait till they're available to watch it all if you want. But at least when it's brand new and releasing, I like the idea of it being once a week because you can't just get it all over with. It's kind of like with chocolate or something. You know, sometimes you have this huge chocolate bar, you're gonna scarf it up, or you want to like, okay, this little bit at a time, good enough for now. This one's good enough. It's
and a lot of people choose not to watch them after it's spoiled because people have already binge watched all of them and told everybody what happens. So they opt out of watching it in the first place. This reduces that chance, that likelihood. And so there's a lot of little reasons why I think we're going to see more streaming services resort back to the.
I'm hoping so. Well, and it leaves room for anticipation, speculation, mystery. What's going to happen next? You know, we don't know what's going to happen yet. So you got to think about it instead of having it shoved down your throat. And so, just in my opinion, I'm okay with that. I'm totally fine with that. I don't know. You have any last thoughts, Kermit?
I like it. I think Pedro Pascal. I'm not gay, but he looks sexy in an Iron Man outfit, and I'm gonna watch the next show.
That's awesome. It's nice to see that there's so many people that are not like turned off to the idea of watching more. That's a success for this fandom to me, because I think so many of us have closed our hearts off to most things Disney, and to put something out there that is enjoyable enough to want to see more of, or at least just give it one more chance. I think we can kind of qualify that as a success, a small one, perhaps.
Yeah.
So,
real quick, it made me go out and I bought the Disney Plus thing for the year, And the other thing is, it's not that this is so good, The Mandalorian. It's that the other stuff was so bad, and it's just so refreshing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, in a little bit, I wanted us to talk about streaming services in general. But before we go back to that, let's finish up our Mandalorian thoughts, if we had any more that we wanted to go through. I know we didn't talk about the little Yoda yet. I know that there's something that you wanted to say, Candace, about the little Yoda.
All right. Well, you guys are going to hear it first, because I was going to tell this on my channel, but I love Jeff, and I'm thankful he's having me on tonight, and it really worked out for you with the timing. So this is mild spoilers. I mean, I have other videos similar that have information like this on my channel. So if you're into this sort of thing, I'll just tell you, I knew about Yoda a month ago. I watched some different videos of some people that have very good information, and I talked about it a little bit on my channel. And a lot of people were upset about the Yoda issue, because they said that this was such a private thing for George. He loved the Yoda storyline and never wanted anyone to have it. A lot of writers would approach him trying to convince him to let them do something with it. He would never give it to them. And so when the big reveal happened, a lot of people were pissed, thinking that they backstabbed George again, that Disney did this again. But I from all the interviews I've seen, from all of the pictures I've seen of George on production sets, like he's there with Filoni, and I call him Favroni. Filoni and Favreau with Favroni.
Sounds like a sandwich.
On set. A lot. I think that he did green light this, and one of the things that the source that I use for knowing about the Yoda thing also said that we are going to know what the species is, and that there's going to be an episode somewhere near the middle of the series that'll have the name of the episode be their species name or something along those lines. And in that episode, George will be in the credits for writing. So that should give everybody confirmation at that point that George was behind this 100%. So when I watched this, I already knew that. And that's kind of why I wasn't thinking of, yes. So I hope that helps some people thinking about that a little bit. I hope that helps them know that he's very invested in this series with Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni. So
you're saying that is Yoda then?
No. When I say Yoda, I just mean it because I don't have another name for the.
We don't know yet.
I say little green alien, but that still wouldn't be good enough. So I don't know. What do I say? Yoda-esque.
The little Yoda.
Do you think it's Yoda? Do you think it's Yoda?
No, there's no way. Yoda died.
Yeah, I know. Yoda died.
Yeah, unless it's a reincarnated Yoda.
Is he like a phoenix? They could be like the phoenixes in Harry Potter,
Yeah, I mean, we literally know this much about Yoda. So
that's kind of the thing. We don't know anything about his species. That's kind of good. Yeah.
I mean, we did see him turn into a Force ghost, but I don't know if that can be reverted. I don't know.
Right. Well, it's like some people still might have an issue with his name being given, but I'm okay with that because we don't have any way to identify the name. And even it's like, this is another thing I can relate to Dragon Ball. If you ever watch it, one of the biggest villains is Frieza. And we don't know his race, really. There's been some dub versions that have referred to, like, kind of implied that they're called Arcosians, but that's not been confirmed. It's just been a guess because of a flashback thing, and it just seemed to make sense, but that's not what his race is. It's just they're just this random race, so we call them the Frieza race or the Cold or something because it's like dad's King Cold and his brother in one of the things that isn't canon is called cooler, and it's like chilled. So Frieza, it's freezer. It's like you don't know what the race is called, but they kind of mention that they're kind of a mutation. That they're not like the rest of their race, so they're outcasts anyway. And it's like we don't need to ever know the name of their species, but it wouldn't hurt if we could just go, the Frieza race are the blanks. And that's all we need to know. Just that's the information. So that's totally fine with me if we learn just the name. Like I don't want them to go, oh, they're these specially magical creatures that always
and we're supposed to be introduced to 5 or more other ones that are of the same species.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's that's bigger than I thought.
I didn't tell you that one before, but I went ahead and just Now again, this is all rumor, but again, I knew about Yoda a month ago. so
you do have some odds on your side.
How random would that be for someone to report that? It's very random. No one saw it coming initially. Anyway,
to say then.
Yeah. So this is somebody who has direct knowledge of people on the set, and I actually have reference to them in my videos. So if y'all ever after this want to look at some of my Mandalorian videos, I do have all that kind of stuff in there.
I do recommend you check out her video. She is the Mandalorian queen.
Mandalorian, right here.
Confirmed. See, what would be funny is if you literally had like a Mandalorian getup you can get or something. Part of a costume. Do your reviews, and have some stuff.
I need a wrist grappler, a flamethrower, a jetpack, and a forked pulsar rifle. That'd be good. Wow. It's a good starter set.
At least the chest or something, in the wrist, gauntlets or something. That would be something. If people already go to your videos to watch your Mandalorian stuff, you dress like a Mandalorian, you're gonna get double that viewership. So,
there you go.
Just saying. And I'm gonna say hello to the chat real quick. We got some people rolling in. We had the George Big Dick Lucas drop in a little bit ago. His name is so funny. With that, I don't know.
He is a great guy too. He is from my hometown, and he's good people. So
he also has a YouTube channel. Yeah, he also has a YouTube channel. Yeah, what was his other one called? What was it? Storyman, yes. Storyman, and and then there's a script doctor. See, I got them confused at one point. I thought they were the same person, but these two are two different people. And then we've got Blasted Heath says Yoda is coming out of the mystery box.
And he is. He's going to be a central part of the series I hope people can be okay with that.
We'll see. It just kind of depends on what situations they have him in, I guess. But I don't know. Having a baby in an action scene isn't that uncommon, like in Hellboy and stuff. He's like carrying a baby half the time while he's fighting. There's plenty of moments where they have that. And Fast and the Furious, they do that at least once. So that kind of thing is pretty common, I'd say. We got Death by Saber. We had the Steven Ernest. What's up? And we got some. I'm just
gonna say Yoda's race and his homeworld. They've never announced that in any official media, canon or otherwise. So it's always been species unknown. If you have any direct links that show me otherwise, please share them with me in a DM at Geeky Candi, because that is something that I have looked up, and I feel fairly confident saying that. But if you know otherwise, please share it with me, because I'd like to know, and I will admit when I'm wrong. So prove me wrong and send me a DM.
Maybe somebody called them the Degabeans. Degabeans or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. Have you guys ever seen Bandit Incorporated's How the Prequels Should Be series?
I have not. No.
I recommend you check it out. It's basically like 3 hours in total, I think. And by the time he gets to the third one, he actually has like voice actors help with the characters. But he basically retells the prequels the way that he thinks they should be. So like his Phantom Menace starts with Anakin and Obi-Wan like already doing missions and stuff. And as Darth Maul is like the main Sith villain and like does other stuff with the Empire, and it's just like played out really well. And lots of teases and lots of cool things. So I feel like we could appreciate some of that stuff. I mean, he does crap on the prequels quite a bit when he does his thing, but put that aside, and he still tells a pretty cool story.
I love having Kermit here, by the way. This is so great. I love having him just looking up at us on screen. This is like the best. What a great You are awesome, Kermit. I need you on one of my streams one of these days.
You should get all the puppets in the community to your stream, Candice. There's more than one. More than one puppet.
Thank you. You guys are easy to look at.
Oh, well, I thank you very much. Hats off to you. But we got a tickety $2 super chat from my buddy Lethal Lightning. What's up, man? He says, cover me in jelly and list my life failures. Well, there's that one time, Lethal,
Oh, Lethal, did you just hear what I said? Did you hear the spoilers I just said? I want to know, because you would be one that would want to know that for sure. I'm curious if you heard it or not.
All right, yeah, let's see. Lethal, did you hear her Yoda spoilers that she was talking about a second ago? Yeah, I remember he said that.
I know he's not happy with the Yoda, and so I would be curious to see what Lethal would be saying about it now, knowing that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Anyway,
my kitty hates being held.
I didn't. I'm sorry. From where? All right. Well, I don't want to repeat it all, but not.
All right. Well, just come back to like around an hour into the stream after this.
I'll just tell you, it might change some things for you. I don't know for better or for worse, but it'll definitely make you feel either a lot more angry or you'll be okay with things. You'll be okay.
Right. We'll see. Hopefully, you'll be okay. Calm down. I
found it interesting that IG-88 works for Planned Parenthood.
IG-11.
IG-11.
It's a different number. It's a different number. It's not the same IG unit. Prequels. Or at least I don't think so, right?
Are you talking about IG-88?
That's what I said, right?
I didn't hear. For some reason it didn't.
He said IG-88, and I said it's a different droid, I think, in this one.
Oh, in this one, yes, it is not IG-88. It's IG-11.
Ah.
Yeah, it's essentially like the same one, but IG-88 is a droid from the prequels from the originals. He was in the originals, yes. And he was a bounty hunter in that. I don't know if he survived or not, but they have a few different versions of him, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see another one soon.
Yeah, we'll see. Do you think we'll get like any Old Republic style droids, like the K-47 or whatever? I remember that. The one that. Did you ever play the Old Republic games, Candice? Or
Out of the Empire?
Okay. Well, I mean, like the Old Republic, with
Old Republic, like very little. I was into online gaming at the time, and I just didn't get into that one that much. Okay. Yeah, but I did a little bit, but not too much. Yeah, that I think what we're going to see a lot of is I know I can confirm another thing if you want on this channel. Some people may have caught it. There was a split second frame of it in one of the TV spots, but I doubt everyone here saw it. There's an AT-ST foot.
Oh,
yes, there's AT-STs, and in season 2. I don't want to give away too many spoilers here.
Well, you can save that one for your channel. That's okay.
That's fine. You're going to get a lot of interesting ones. I mean, we got to see a lot of really cool callbacks to different droids just in this first one. The DNLD trash can looking droid as he takes him to the client. That was a lot of fun. I love that one. We even saw Jabba's gatekeeper droid, a version of him. Again, just another holler back to Jabba. And another little Jabba reference. You saw his little pet, the species of his pet. Was it a Kowakian?
The little Salacious Crumb.
Yeah, Salacious Crumb, one of his kinds, roasting on a spit. So it's just kind of funny.
I didn't realize that. Sorry.
No, I was just saying CVS real quick. He's like, it's so sad because like friends looking at him like as he's looking at his friend right in front of him getting roasted.
Yeah, that was one of the hardest parts for me, actually. It's so sad because I like the cute creatures.
That made me hungry.
I know. I wonder what they taste like now. They weren't food before.
Yeah.
Lethal Lightning for $2. Again, my big old buddy from Australia says, Candice, Kermit is my favorite frog, but be careful. Be careful with this one.
But he's a frog. He's Kermit the Log. He just looks like a frog, right?
That's right.
So is he supposed
to
be?
Log in Frog's clothing, right?
Yes, exactly. Very disguised.
It's actually hard to find clothing that fits this log.
Technically, he's a bundle of sticks, but
Funny.
Hey, Rookie, I got to get going, though, my friend. I got to get another live stream I'm about to hop on in a little bit.
All right, well, you're good, man. Thank you for stopping by. Hey, if you want any last thoughts on The Mandalorian or anything, go ahead, man.
I liked it. I love Star Wars. I sound like Brett Kavanaugh, but I still love Star Wars, and it made me happy to have my friend Star Wars back again, So
yeah.
I'm really hopeful for the second one, and I hope I don't see too much hate on it.
All right. Well, we'll see. Depends on what happens, I guess. Right.
Yeah. Go watch People Rogue. I hope they learn it eventually.
Yes.
It also gives me a little hope that maybe they're finally learning their lesson.
Mm-hmm.
They're giving the fans what they want. But hey, it's great to meet you, Geeky Candace, and I'll talk to you later, my friend.
Yep. Later, dude.
Bye.
Have a good one. Oh, and real quick, we got another $2 super chat from Laura Stole My Ryan. Laura Ryan Stole My Fan Fiction Story. Sometimes you change the name, and I'm trying to remember which name it is this time. I got you. She says, critics' toy sales are down. Favron, meet this little guy. Or Favroni, yep.
Yeah.
I thought that
they're introducing all the new little characters, I guess. And that's funny.
See, I can imagine
characters we've seen before, but
that's true. But I imagine they'll be selling a lot more now with the Mandalorian out.
I want a Queel plushie.
Yes,
I like Queel, and I want an IG-11 to do my dishes.
That would be interesting.
That's what I want. I just love just being in the center of the kitchen, just spinning around. That'd be amazing.
Quick, just giving little lines. Yep, this dishes must be done. Cannot do nothing until completed. Yes.
Exactly.
Yep. Appreciate that, Laura, very much. Thank you. And with the. All right. See, I feel like the Mandalorian toys would sell much better than the sequel toys because there's some. At least the Mandalorian himself is a good character that people would probably want to play with. Like I would imagine kids would want to.
Yeah.
As compared to Snoke.
I'll tell you, Boba Fett has had the character of Boba Fett has had such a long-lasting, impactful effect on toy sales through the years, despite the short screen time he had, which is just a testament to the strong character building that they did with him, that Lucas had with him. And so it was such a smart idea to carry in his likeness with this, because I can see a lot of people wanting to don the Mandalorian armor for playtime and whatever, Halloween and all of that. It's going to just keep it going. And I dig it. I like it. I mean, it doesn't have to be Boba Fett for me. I want to, in fact, I kind of want a new storyline. And to be honest, a lot of people don't even know Boba Fett wasn't a Mandalorian. So that's another reason why Boba Fett will not be revealed here, because he is not a Mandalorian. But also there is question as to if this guy really is Mandalorian or not either. But that I don't know 100% on that. I have my theories, and that'll be on my review tomorrow, because I have a huge review. After this, I got to finish editing it. But I've got a scene by scene, ultra deep dive into this series or this first show, and it's gonna have a lot in there to unpack, more than I've said already.
I can't wait to see that, because your breakdown so far has already been quite a lot. I didn't. You told me a little bit you're gonna say, then you said a little more, and you got more behind that. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I've literally spent the last month every moment just searching for what is new, article wise, news wise, video wise, what is out there on Mandalorian, just so I could be a source like that for people's channels, for my channel, for whatever. So
I'd say you've been successful at that so far, especially with like you said that your Yoda thing came true. That's a big one.
Yeah, well, you can even check it out. I have a video up that says what was going to happen. I know my channel wasn't very big. It still isn't, but it is there. If anyone who watched it would have known that there was going to be a Yoda. So I'm just saying, hey guys, but I didn't want to promote that too much, because I was like, I don't know if I'm right. But now that I know I'm right, I have a feeling the other things I'm saying are probably on the right path.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
Was there any other points or any other parts in The Mandalorian that you wanted to bring up for discussion here?
I'd love to know if any of the people in your chat have a question for you or me concerning it. I can definitely answer some questions if people have any about it. I can cover anything else. I mean, there's a whole lot. So I don't want to bore people if people are kind of like, okay, yeah, this is a little more than I wanted, and move on to another subject. But
of course,
if people are still interested, I'd love to know any questions that they might have. I'd be willing to answer them. But just for now, while we're waiting to see, I guess one other thing that let me see here. I have like some of the most interesting parts to me, all my notes. I'm a note girl.
Of course. Yeah, same here.
So one of the things I love, we haven't really talked too much about Queel. And Queel is a wonderful, wonderful, like the way that he speaks, his mannerisms and what he says, that I have spoken. And what a great creative decision to keep him as an animatronic version puppet than to Jar Jar Binks him out CGI style. I think that it was it gave me the nostalgia. I didn't mind the fact that, it isn't too realistic, but hey, it's Star Wars. In the originals, it wasn't that it was super realistic. It was just that it was amazing for its time. Okay. Right. But now we've gotten to the point where CGI has become so the end all be all thing in movies that in and of itself has become less realistic. I think some CGI stuff is less realistic because of it. So I love the fact that they did that. And he is his mannerisms, everything, very Native American to our space cowboy Mandalorian. And teaching him how to ride bareback and talking about getting these people off of his territory because he just wants peace again, and talking about just all of his just manner when he leaves, he does this thing as he leaves, which is like a sign for hello and goodbye, respect. And so it's just it was very nice little callback for that. And as you know, well, maybe you guys don't know or do know, the race of Queel is an Ugnaught, and they also come from Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, I was like, those guys look kind of familiar.
Yeah, well, they didn't speak then, but they were the ones carrying out the carbonite freezing operations on Bespin, and that was when we saw our first live freeze with Han. And I thought how appropriate it would be for him to have a friendship with one of these guys, being a bounty hunter himself. So very smartly done. I hope that they do have a lot more scenes together. I think Nick Nolte did great with the voicing of him, very believable, and I just kind of want to give him a hug. He seems so sweet. I like it.
It was a good scene, and I've been impressed enough with the show. I mean, there's still lots of improvements to be made. But with the characters, none of them felt too bad or anything. None of them got on my nerves too much. Like, it wasn't like, I can get this guy off the screen.
Yeah.
Which,
so do you have any good questions you think you want to throw out here?
Yeah, let's see what people are saying. 12-inch Lando says, were all the named
That's a good question.
Were all the named locations new?
Were all the named locations new? Okay, so first of all, if you know of any that were named, please tell me, because it was all the locations I had to figure out were not named in the but I was able to make assumptions based on the native tongue that they used. I
don't think they ever announced where they were going to.
They didn't. Which made
go see blank, and then they went to blank, but you didn't know where that was. Which, again, I really loved that, actually, because in the movies, like in Rogue One, like they would show the planet, show the thingy at the bottom what the name is, and then cut to it. And it's like, you could just say, "Hey, we're going to blank," and then just cut to that and not tell us where you are. Yeah. You already said it. So I appreciated them just going to the places.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you're wanting to know the places, I can tell you what I know. And what I know is the very first place that he goes to for his first bounty, the Mythrol, that blue-looking fish dude that's played by Horatio Sands, if you couldn't tell, which was a very fun choice.
Yeah, but I like that callback. I'm like, SNL, that's what I thought, too.
Yes. If you ever want to know more about a show without having to work too hard at it, use subtitles. Subtitles will give you a lot of answers to things that you wouldn't normally get without them, such as this. The native tongue that the ferryman, the guy that hailed the taxi, spoke was Kubazian. And so the Kubazian is the native tongue of Kubaz, I guess. And so that is an icy planet, which makes sense. That's what we saw, full of like, ice monsters and such. So if I had to make a guess, that'd be my educated guess for that one. Now, the place where we go with our bounties to go see Grief Karga, it had a lot of Tatooine-esque stylings. We had a lot of people speaking Huttonese. We had a lot of people that were just, it's a bounty hunting HQ basically there. There was no official, speak of it being Tatooine. I'm not 100% on that, but again, we had Jawas there. So it's just, it's a tough one to say. And I wouldn't want to say it's Tatooine, but it felt like a very close representation of Tatooine, which is kind of what this movie is doing with a lot of things, or show is doing with a lot of things. So
speaking of close, I don't think they showed any like bird's eye view of any of the towns they were in. They pretty much showed it all in town.
Yes.
Like there was no outside, this is how big the city is. No, it's just you're in the city. You have no idea how big the city is. You have no idea what the structures look like. So that makes it even harder to kind of guess. So you have to just judge based on the streets.
Yes. And then the other place, now this I can confirm because it just got updated in Wikipedia. I guess, do we consider that a confirmed source of information on Star Wars?
I would say more like maybe 90% or
okay, well then we're going to go with that. So this is a new planet just for this series called Arvala 7, and that is going to be an outer rim planet where they found the baby Yoda. It's going to be a desert style planet. So perhaps there's going to be more to happen on that. There is going to be more to happen on that planet because if you see in the trailers, he battles like a space rhino at some point, or not, but like wrangles him kind of like a cowboy. It seemed like that was the some people call it a reek. I looked at the reeks. I like calling it a space rhino, but it could be a reek.
It could be or maybe a sprino.
Yeah.
Space rhino.
There you go. So yeah, those are the locations that I can make that I talk about in my review tomorrow. That's the only way I could say it. You could take it for what it's worth, but it's all I know.
Right. Yeah, I do like how they didn't just tell us all the names. I don't know. That's just kind of feels natural when they're not just shouting out the names of where they are all the time. Like I'm not in my city and going, I'm going to go to the city. You just kind of go to the place, the destination within whatever city it is, and it really always.
Yeah, we're really just like in his back pocket, sort of following him around like it is like a video game, and we're just like eyes on him, for his day, seeing how his day has changed from the beginning to the end. Right in the middle of it, when he gets that new gig, that is, the music shifts. He starts to have to incorporate new traits that he's not necessarily comfortable with because it's this is an out of the norm business thing for him to do. So that's why there's a big shift between the characteristics of our Mandalorian from the beginning to the end. A lot of people commented about it being kind of bad writing, but I think there was a lot of buildup that led to it that way. And it was created as a reason to get to see more aspects of our Mandalorian when he is put into situations that he is not familiar with. Because in the beginning, when he hit up the Ravanax, you could see he was just ready for it.
That's his element. That's where he goes.
Yeah, just like out of the holiday special, he was like ready for it. So, exactly. But now he's hitting new things, and that's why he had to have speak more with Quill, because he had to learn how to ride. He couldn't take a land speeder or a speeder bike over all those craters and fissures, on that planet that he was on. So he had to change a little bit. And so the change was warranted in the writing to me.
Yeah, well, and I also like that part where Quill is like, is like, hey, your ancestors rode these big whatever things. Like, I think you can handle this thing. And so he's just like, all right, so that's his ancestors, man. You can't bitch out now. Like, you got to do it. So.
Yeah.
I like that. That was a thing. He's like, all right, he can't just go around this. He's got to actually figure out how to do it. So I like that.
I see we got a lot of questions now. This is awesome. Yeah, let's go some more.
Yeah, let's do this. So we got the next one from Joshua Yeah, Joshua Tika says, "Will the Mandalorian succeed by the end of season 1?"
That's a loaded question. What is success to him? And it's hard to answer, but I think that part of it's going to be his identity, understanding his own identity. When he was asked what his signet was, has it been revealed to him by the armorer? He said no. I think that is going to be a part in establishing his identity and possibly giving us more background on his upbringing.
Yeah, I agree. Yep. I don't have much to add to that. So Laura, the Ryan fiction, Laura says, so the Mando is not really a bounty hunter. He's a bail bondsman.
That's a really good question too, because IG-88 busts into that encampment and basically says, "I'm from Bondsman Guild. I'm from the Bondsman Guild, not a bounty hunting guild." And so there's a difference here that was and it's the very first thing he says. So it is important. And I don't know if that means that he is or is not a bounty hunter. I don't know. I just know that I know our Mandalorian is a bounty hunter. He takes it very seriously. He keeps a code, and he only kills if he has to. That's why he does the carbonite freezing, because he prefers them alive. So he follows his code, keeps his integrity.
Yep, I agree. Very well said. Let's see. Next question to do.
All right. Glad to see you live chat. Oh, hi, Joshua. Yes, I'm glad.
Joshua Tika. He is awesome with that. He says, "Glad the Mandalorian pilot got me hyped for the series." Yeah, well, that's good. Mm-hmm. More to come. Lethal Lightning. I'm prepared for him. He says, "Can you give me 3 reasons why I should watch it?"
The Yoda thing you missed. Is that what that question's for?
That's probably, most likely, at least part of it.
So Lethal, I knew about Yoda last month, and I knew about Yoda last month, and I know more about. George is going to be in the writing credits in one of the episodes. So if you're concerned at all about him not being a part of this or being a part of the writing, he is one of the episodes that's going to have the entire mythology, or a lot of the mythology of Yoda's species, is going to be written by George.
I hope he caught that. He said
from the same source that told me about the rumors of the Yoda in the first place.
I hope he caught that. He also said in the chat that he's going back to work. So
yeah, he wants me to DM him, and I'm half tempted to just tell him, you need to just give the rookie another view.
Yep. That's right, Lethal. It was around the hour mark. I told them before. It's around the hour mark. We have the counter here. Soul Assassin says, "Do you think we'll see the Mandalore? Or do you think we'll see Mandalore this season?"
That's a really good question. I don't know if there is any remnants of it at this point. I think that they all had to scatter because of the destruction of their city back at the Siege of Mandalore. I think that's why we see a tribe on this planet that is Tatooine-esque. Mm-hmm. A tribe here, essentially like hanging out in the armory. Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah,
I think we'll see in flashbacks, though.
I kind of feel like it will be like, they don't have their home planet anymore, so they've had to make one of their own, basically, and wherever they can, wherever that is. So it's a little more tragic for them.
So there's a few scenes from some of the trailers too, or TV spots, where we saw Cara Dune training villagers, samurai style, where they're all lined up with bamboo sticks. And I'm wondering if that is a flashback to Mandalore as well, or if she's going to be a current character. I don't know. I'm not sure. So it's interesting to see if there is going to be if Mandalore is going to be here or not, in flashback mode or present mode.
Yeah, we'll see. And 12-inch Lando, once again, says, "I forgot that the Boba Fett lore was that he wore ancient Mandalorian armor and that he was not Mandalorian.
And that he got it from his dad."
Yeah, true. That makes sense.
Yeah, his dad was a clone. If you go by canon, right? Is that what we're doing here? Okay.
Probably.
You always have to ask.
Probably.
His dad was like the original clone for the clone army, and I forgot how he got the Mandalorian armor, but neither of them were Mandalorian, and so somehow we have this misconception just going around everywhere that they want the Mandalorian to be Boba Fett, and I'm like, you don't know how wrong that is on so many levels. So many levels. But that's okay. That's okay.
That's okay. That's good. Laura, once again, says, "Do you think we will get a Life Day episode around Christmas time?"
I hope so. That was actually in an interview with the cast and crew, being the main cast members and Jon Favreau. They were asked by somebody, I think from from IGN, and they asked them, can we see asked Carl Weathers this? Can we see a Life Day, like a holiday special again? Can we see a live action holiday special? And they said they were very happy to hear that question. They didn't give it away one way or the other, right. But I would imagine that because Disney has all of this now liberty and freedom with the streaming service, that right. They could, if it is a highly successful thing, I don't see why it couldn't be. I don't know how the money works behind the scenes with something like that, or if all the characters needed would be present.
Yeah, I don't know who would the focus be on. I don't think it would be on the Wookiees.
Logistics of it would be kind of a nightmare, but who knows? I just know that the streaming service is going to give them a lot more opportunities for things like that to happen.
Watch it be like, so it's Life Day. So on Life Day, in the terms of Warriors, they have to try to not kill anyone. Or something that's like, you see everyone walking around all tense trying to not kill no one. Maybe that's the drama of the episode. Yeah. I don't know. Like, that's all I could come up with for a Life Day episode worth seeing, maybe.
Right.
Yeah. Let's see. Thomas Borg says Boba Fett was a Mandalorian. He says Boba Fett was a Mandalorian and even became Mandalore in Legends, but not anymore in canon.
Okay. So, and that's the thing. That's why I'm asking, are we going canon or not? Because it's tough to say. But yeah, if we're following, I guess, with Dave Filoni here behind the scenes, I'm imagining most of the things are going to be canon. But I do believe that they're going to pull some things out of Legends. In fact, I think I even remember Jon Favreau saying that he wanted to pull some surprises from both, but I don't think that would be one of them.
Right. Yep, I agree. Yeah, Angela says Jango was trained by a Mandalorian, if I'm not mistaken, but not Mandalorian.
I can't remember that episode on Clone Wars. I watched all of Clone Wars, but I just can't remember. And I wanted to watch them all again because of this show, but it's like it was lower on the priority list.
If what the head of the Death Watch was saying was true, then he's right. Then Jango was not a Mandalorian, because he even said he was not a Mandalorian. I don't know how anybody could have gotten Mandalorian armor, but he is not a Mandalorian. That.
I remember Obi-Wan holding up a little thing showing the history or showing it that moment of when they found out that he's not Mandalorian. So I do remember that, but I just can't remember much else.
Right. All right. I kind of want to switch it up from something not Mandalorian.
Oh, sorry.
No. I like it. I like it. I'm getting too much Boba Fett and Mandalorian in there.
The lore bugs me. It brings me down a little bit too. I kind of like keeping the fresh present tense of what's going on in my brain. It's just too much when we keep going backwards.
Well, when it's like with the whole canon thing, in my opinion, I don't think we can even really call anything official canon anymore, because like same with Dragon Ball, like they had this thing where a lot of people saw it as anything directly from the creator was officially canon. Anything he had his hands on was canon. Yeah. If anyone else wrote it and he didn't do it, then it's not canon.
Right.
But then there's things where, like, in the same series, he forgets a detail about a character. Like, let's say his hair was purple in the beginning, and then later he draws it blue.
Yeah.
Well, that's a mistake. But he did it. So what do you do here? And
this is this is a problem, and it's a problem that this franchise has created for itself because of how vast it's become. And it's not necessarily, it's like first world problems, like you deserve it, but I mean, what are you gonna do at some point? You have to figure it out, and
then it goes into more detail where, like, there was the Dragon Ball GT series, and then there's the Dragon Ball Super series, and they can both exist, but they can't both exist at the same time. They are completely different. And you go, oh, this one's canon, this one's not canon. This is, but the manga, the things that, they really drew from, and then that's the animation. So the animation, they had a filler episode, so it's not canon. Like, there's all these arguments about what is specifically the legitimate for reals thing. And it's like, it's kind of at a point where you can kind of pick whichever feels right for you, because there's enough material there that can make that what it is. And if you're watching something that isn't with that line, then it's not in your canon. It's kind of how I see it. Same with Star Wars. Like,
sense.
They said, oh, there's the legends, but is all of the EU completely intertwined with each other officially? I don't think so. There's a lot of, I think there's a lot of stuff that don't go with each other, where Luke is this way in one area of the series and then a different way in a different one, is from what I understand anyway. They're not all the same continuity. So,
right.
So I don't know. So to go with is it for reals? That I don't know anymore. Like, if Lucasfilm were to ever, be owned by somebody else that's not Disney, they could say that the books that went with Disney's sequels that they said are canon, they could say they're not canon. It's just like, a game of nothing.
Yeah, and I feel like at some point it's going to become irrelevant, because over the years, as more years go by and as people grow older and more younger people become interested in this, it's going to change. It's going to evolve again. So I feel like at some point it's going to become irrelevant, and then we're going to have a lot less division in the fandom as a whole because of it. So that'll be good. I'll be happy about that.
Yeah, pretty much. But so we'll be ending the stream pretty soon. But did you have anything else you wanted to do with The Mandalorian before we talk about streaming services? Maybe.
Up to you. If you feel it, I think we hit it pretty good.
I think we talked for a full hour about the Mandalorian. So that's pretty good. And I'm pretty sure you're going to have plenty of discussions about the Mandalorian in these next continuous weeks.
I will be on Friday night tights with Gary at Neurotic discussing more Mandalorian stuff. So you can see me there after, tomorrow I'm not going to be on anything, I don't think. So that'll be my next big stream with more information there, and we'll have the second episode out. So if you want my take on it, I will have a good take. I promise. I'm going to watch it several times before I get on his stream. So I will come equipped with notes and facts and ready to share my opinion.
Is there a certain time of day that they said that it's going to drop
I'm still trying to get that confirmed, because, on Geeks and Gamers, we're still wanting to do a live stream of it directly after, but we're trying to do it with our schedules and we have no idea when it's going to drop. So
everybody's in a different time zone. So
it's just tough to say. I've been checking back and there's nothing yet.
Okay. That makes sense. I would imagine it'd be around the same time it dropped on Tuesday, but
well, that was different for everybody too.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, I was able to watch it at 11:30 p.m. Mountain Time the day before it was supposed to drop. So explain that.
I don't know anymore.
Yeah, but I have no idea.
Yeah, but with like Disney Plus, so like, did you have the Disney Plus service, or
I do
doing it a different way? Did you look at anything else?
I have it. I have it because I have kids and they love Disney stuff, and I'm not going to be that parent that denies them that joy because of my own hatred of things Disney.
Right. So, yeah, I imagine that's pretty much a big reason why people would get Disney Plus, and I totally don't blame anyone for doing that. If I had kids, I'd probably do the same thing.
I can't afford paying. They used to have a monthly service for access to the vault, I believe, or something.
Oh, wow.
They had something, or I forget, but yeah, like all the movies that your kids, the really good animated that you grew up on that you want your kids to see, it was very hard to get access to them, and now we have all of them, like just about, and it's that in of itself was worth the money to me, because my kids like those movies, and I like them watching those movies more than what's out there currently on TV.
True. I do hate the Disney Vault so much. It's such a dumb concept. It's like I think they hold movies in there for like 7 years.
Yeah, and then switch them out. Yeah,
and it's like, well, so like I missed a couple films that came out around when I was growing up. So it's like I was 7 when some of those were available, and it's like, yeah, I'm 7 now. Like, all right, so some you have to catch you at a little younger to get more invested in it or something.
Yeah.
Like, so I don't know. It's annoying, but it was streaming services
like all the way in the 40s or something. So
when it started. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But with streaming services in general, like that's more my beef with Disney Plus. It's not that they're Disney; it's that it's another streaming service. Which, like, I'm glad that they exist. I love Netflix. I'm glad that the option is available. But it's like, I'm so annoyed with it because it's pretty much a forever payment. Yeah. Like, if you want to watch them at all, you have to pay forever to watch them, and you have to rely on them. And if they want to charge you more, they can. If they want to take a movie away so you cannot view it, they can. Like, you don't own anything that they show you. Like you can't, download.
You know where we can blame this all on? You know what we can blame all of this on?
I don't know.
The demise of Blockbuster. The demise of Blockbuster started a lot of little side businesses such as Netflix. And Netflix originated being a mailed to you service of videos because at the time, Blockbuster and other companies like Blockbuster were no longer around, and people couldn't access just easy to grab, like it was DVDs at the time. They were easy to ship, and they had just launched they launched a limited version online of things you could watch immediately, but it was mostly really off-brand kind of stuff. And then the good stuff you would have to wait like 2, 3, 4 days to mail, and then you'd keep the packet and you'd have to mail it back when you're done. It was quite the hassle. But over time, it has evolved in such a way that, it's I mean, talk about a growth trajectory here.
Oh, I know.
Okay? Taking advantage of the technology you have around you in the situation where we are today, and evolving your company that way. It's very smart. Now, you could see this coming a decade ago at that point, because you started to see now smart apps on your TVs. And this is the way it's going to go. Eventually, cable's going to be rendered. It's going to be gone like to me, I feel like cable's going to be about as used as much as a landline. Okay.
You might still have it. You might not know that you have it, and it's there, but nobody uses it. So nobody's going to use it.
The only real pro to some of this is that as of now, still, you can share with other family members and friends accounts where you can log in and use as long as other people are not logging in and using. So like with my family, like my brother has Hulu and I pay for, Netflix, and my parents do Prime, and we just kind of all split, everything. And it works like that for now. Now, I think as things become more competitive, they might change some things up where it becomes more difficult to do that. But at least in that sense, it's still okay, because you can't do that with cable. No, you couldn't. So it's a tough thing. It's just where we're headed, and we're gonna have to figure it out.
I want to believe says the demise of Blockbuster was inevitable, which I do agree. I'm not saying that it's the worst thing ever that they're gone. It's more that the amount of control that streaming services are going to have is like, you don't own anything. They own it all. And in order to have access to watch whatever they have for you, you have to constantly pay them for it, which can seem like, oh, you're getting a better deal off of it. But I don't know. Sometimes I don't think that's always the best thing. And it's like, there's a lot of areas where they don't have Wi-Fi. It's reliant on your Wi-Fi signal to play properly. I mean, I remember there was a huge period where, the signal freaking sucked, or at least around my house. They would buffer a lot. And I'm just like, can I just watch a goddamn thing without having it? So it's, there's just a lot of problems that come along with it as well. And I'm not saying that the physical media is the best thing in the world. I mean, I enjoy it. I like having it, but I also do like being able to sit on my ass and, click something. If the cat's on my lap, I don't want to move the cat. I gotta, just take something to watch from my chair. So I do appreciate it, and I'm glad it exists, but I don't know. I think at some point there's going to be too much reliance on it, and that's going to be for our worse, not better.
Yeah, you're going to have to make sacrifices is what it's going to come down to, and decide what's the most important thing. And I will say this too, there's always people out there that are able to bypass the system, meaning people being able to figure out how to live stream stuff where you can get kind of what you want to see without paying for it. I mean, there's always going to be those Plex is often used in that way, with people uploading to libraries however they want to upload it and then share with people that they have. So there's always that, in the background, which for better or for worse, it's there. So I don't know. I will say the one thing that makes me kind of sad though about the demise of Blockbuster is I am old enough to remember as a child the joy of going with your family to pick up a bucket of popcorn
and candy and stuff,
and a movie for your family night. That was always a lot of fun for our family. And like, I remember I would pick a movie, and my brother would pick a movie, and my other brother would pick a movie. And we'd always have a fight about who'd get to watch what that night. So it's it's sad that it's gone, but there's other things these days to replace that. But nostalgia is nostalgia. You can't
get that tactile feeling that you had going into a Blockbuster, browsing the aisles for it, and then going up to the thing, picking some
video games. And those were big, coming up too. Picking a video game too. It's always so fun.
I miss that the most because you could play a game for the renting price, beat it in a week or 2 days or so, the buddy if you want, and then just go return it. You don't need to own the thing. You don't need to pay $60 for it and then do whatever. You just rent it, play it. You can beat it, you're done. Or if you liked it enough, you go and buy it later.
Yeah.
I love that. That was a good process.
Mm-hmm.
And I do miss the Blockbusters big time.
Yep.
That's why in my story that I'm going to make at some point, I want to make this a film, but that's a long ways away from now, like for like an actual film. So I might make it a comic book first. And I have the villains, instead of being in like an abandoned warehouse, they're in abandoned Blockbusters. And Toys R Us, because that's the modern.
Those are two of my favorite. Yeah, that's like my childhood wrapped up in chapter 11 right there. Like just the bankruptcy. Like it's so sad. It was so sad. I remember I did a lot of shopping when they were going out of business, Toys R Us, because I was like, okay, Christmas coming around the corner, you guys. We're gonna take care of it right now. And it was so sad though, seeing all the shelves going and everything, and like, oh man. But like I know taking your kids to Toys R Us is no fun, and they missed out on the opportunity of doing something like Chick-fil-A or something, any restaurant that has like a playground there. Let your kids go crazy at the playground, open up a few of the newest toys there and let them play with it, get them try it out. That way you can do your toy shopping without all the crazy, it's just like, oh, they should have done
so many things they could have done and done well. And I think that goes with the production of some of the toys that have come out in the last 10 years as well. Like I remember growing up, like prequel era toys, whether it's with Star Wars or like, I'm just saying prequel era because that covers the 90s, early 2000s. Is like, I would play Power Ranger toys as a kid and Star Wars toys, and like they had good features on them. Like you can bend the knee, you can spread the leg out a little, you can do stuff, but and they're sturdy enough. They have weapons that fit in their hands, and you can play with them. Unless you're the stupid kids that go. I hated that. When I see kids do that, I look at them like, how are you? What's going on in your head? And you're going, blah, 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 blah. Like, I'm like, no, I got to set them all up, have them all have their different spots, and get them each, and with the arm, the leg. So I don't know, but now like you look at them, and I'm like, God, okay, so this little thing that has no features with anything it can do is worth $13. Whew, no. Like a Snoke with a robe.
Oh yeah, you won't see a Snoke for $13.
You don't want to do that. Rose Tico. I know that like World Class Bullshitters have posted. Oh, they're like 99 cents. Not on my friend Meyer. They're like $13.
Really? Okay, so at my Target, all of the new Star Wars stuff. I'm talking the new Star Wars stuff at the Target by my house. They have it. And I took pictures of this. I meant to post it, but I never did it. Maybe I should post it tonight.
Same here. I did the same thing. I pictures.
Yeah, they had all the Star Wars stuff, the new stuff. It was in a section of Marvel, and it had Marvel on top of it. They could care less about the merchandising of these, the point of sale merchandising on these toys. I'm just saying, no one's coming by to check them. They don't care.
They used to be their own section of notice. Like when you're browsing, you see the blue Hot Wheels, you see the pink Barbie, you see the purple whatevers, you see the green whatevers, and then you see the mixture of color of the Star Wars toys, and you go, that's my section, and then you go and look for the different ones. And this is what I give the prequel era props for, is because like their Kit Fistu and their Plo Koon and they're whatever ones. People that are in it for less than 1 minute have recognizability as a toy to be cool, and they have a lightsaber, and it's like it's a
and you had some really great. I mean, there are so many aspects of the prequels geared to kids. That's Jar Jar Binks and General Grievous, and like you keep going. Like my little brother loved General Grievous.
Yes.
I mean. Loved him. It was weird.
General Kenobi.
Yeah. I just feel like it's just. But that's okay. I enjoyed it. But there had moments. I loved Darth Maul. I loved his acting. What's his name? Ray. Something.
Ray
Parker.
Parker. I want to say that, but I don't think it's right.
I think it's Ray Parks. Ray Parks, right? I got to do that now because
I know you're close. The script doctor in the chat will know. He'll answer us in a sec. I'm pretty sure. Ray Park. No, yeah, you might be right.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's actually sounding familiar the more I'm saying it.
Anyway, his ability to translate Darth Maul's fighting style the way he did was amazing. I loved it. His wielding a dual lightsaber in that way, double-sided. Anyway, those.
Do you watch the channel Shadowversity?
No, I do not.
I highly recommend that you check him out. He did two. He does lots of sword style videos. He knows the accuracy of a lot of these things and fencing, medieval stuff. Okay. But he's also covering some Star Wars stuff now. So he did the breakdown of the throne room fight scene. He did the, yeah. So what's his answer?
I was close. I was like Ray Park
Junior. Okay, yeah, that's close. Yeah. Oh no, he said that is the musician that wrote Ghostbusters.
Oh wait, no. Oh no. So okay, now. Killing me. What's his name?
Wait, no, they did. Ray. He says Soul Assassin says Ray Parks. George.
Okay.
He says Park, and he says Park.
I follow him on Twitter, so I'm like, I should know this. Okay, sorry.
All right, I'm not sure exactly now. It's Ray Park or Parks, but yeah, you pretty much got it.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. It bothered me.
No, you're good. But I was gonna say he broke down the throne room fight scene with the Red Guards, Kylo and Rey, and like just does a frame by frame EFAP style, it's like breakdown of it, and commenting on if they have their guard position or if they just lower their guard completely. When they kick, are they kicking something? Are they aiming at each other or at their lightsabers? Right. And then he did one on the Obi-Wan versus Anakin fight scene, and
nice.
He's comments on moves like when they spin, like was it okay? Now I'm gonna turn around, deflect, try to strike this. What are they doing? Or are they sometimes doing these weird moves where like they have the lightsaber in front of them and not attacking or something? So he just breaks it down. That stuff's really fun to watch because it shows the effort that they put into it. Mm-hmm. And like Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen did. Excellent choreography. There's like he said, there's some mistakes in it sometimes. Like the first 2 minutes is like pretty solid, and then there's some where it kind of is a little repetitive, and then also some mistakes start to come in. But it's like
the biggest mistake was to attempt the high ground jump. That was the biggest.
Yeah, mistake. He said that's stupid. No, he said the high ground thing was the stupidest thing. Yeah, and the whole fight scene where it's just like the high ground. He's like, actually, Obi-Wan has the worst type of advantage ever. There's no advantage. It's like you're actually in a worse spot because
the reach is actually worse. That there's the less reach when you have the high ground. If someone was to make it,
you can't really block your legs very well. I mean, you can't. You're trying to strike at them. They have full blockage of their front, so it's like you're completely at a disadvantage when you do that. Oh, Peter Griffin's back into the chat. What's up, buddy? It's been a while. He says, "Oh, nice."
Oh, nice. The 7 lightsaber forms. Oh, yeah. Yep.
And the awesome Fanax of Film. What's up, buddy? He does awesome content as well. He does lots of shows with Kermit and Jolly and Megs and stuff. So they're pretty funny. I think they're watching the American Horror Story show sometimes to do commentary. And he's saying that he loves Mueller and stuff. Yeah, Shadow Adversity is kind of similar to that, but more on weapons.
I like the fan fiction movie that was made. Not movie. It was like maybe 16 minutes, 17 minutes of Darth Maul.
That's called the Sith Apprentice.
Yes, that was fantastic. I love that.
That one was great, and I mean, I don't think he spoke it. I don't think he spoke like at all in that whole thing, but it was still just fantastic.
Oh, it was beautiful. It was beautiful. I wanted more Maul, and then I saw it. And I was like, oh, I still want more Maul. I love it.
There's a lot of fantastic fan films out there. Star Wars fan films that are great. I was watching one today a little bit. I'm actually going to share the screen for it. This one's not as impressive as others, but I mean, the acting that goes into their little fan film and the sound effects are pretty impressive considering. This one's like, this girl is on this planet with her dad, and the Empire is trying to find an artifact, which is like the other half of a double lightsaber, and that their mom has. And it's just like, they have a little droid that they built for this as well in the scene. And it's like, a pretty good location for filming. Yeah. They even throw in that little monster that's in the in episode 4 in the dumpster that that has the one eyeball.
That's funny.
And it takes out half this team. It's like, what? And it's like he just smacks her in the face. It's like, okay, that went weird. But it's like the passion in these fan films are what I loved more compared to the sequel trilogy or like the sequel movies, because in Force Awakens and Last Jedi, there's just not as much there. And it's like these people are trying to act and trying to do stuff. They're not getting paid for it.
Yeah, the corporate-owned entities, the overlords, if you will, take all the passion away from the filmmaking these days, and it goes out to the lowest paying. Usually it's awful, and then it all gets chopped up on the editing floor, and whatever the best edit is what gets out there, and it sucks. It's not fair.
Pretty much. They even made like a Qui-Gon one, and
Qui-Gon.
It's not super great, but I liked it enough. It's a little decent. It's you can tell it's not the best shot, but not the best effects, but it's still a lot of passion in there. Short story, just Qui-Gon.
Good hair.
Shows him, struggling to not go dark side a little bit. And it's like, I don't know. I just love seeing these. I don't know about you. See these, but the Darth Vader.
I need to just spend a night when I have some free time and just kind of browse the YouTubes for some of that stuff, just to, feel the passion again, for sure.
Well, I'll be able to help with that because I'm doing a series on my channel where I literally give, I tell people a short summary about what the fan film is and if it's worth watching or not. There's the first one I did on my channel was called The Force and the Fury, and it's like 7 minutes long, and it's like I said, it was a pretty gosh darn well shot little fan film, and very short, very brief, but had like 4K, had good panning on it, good sound quality, good acting from the actors, which the guy in it I think has a few acting credits and a few TV shows, but nothing huge. But so they did good. There's a lot of random ones. Some of these are YouTube channels that have channels, but they only do like the fan films every now and then do other stuff. So lots of good ones to appreciate.
Yep.
Got Tim Christ in the chat. What's up, buddy? He loves watching fan films. And it's like, and not just Star Wars, like Lord of the Rings has some great ones, Power Rangers, Predator, Batman superhero ones, some great ones.
Yep.
Great ones out there. All right. I think we've been going for over 2 hours now, just about the 2 hour mark. This has been a long time since I went that long on one of my streams. So I've been trying to keep them at around an hour usually when I do the one-on-ones. No, we're fine. This is the rookie corner. This is the different show. Before you knew me,
extra content when Geeky Candi comes on. That's right.
Yes, exactly. Well, it's like a long time ago I would do the rookie corner where this is when people weren't streaming as much actually in the smaller YouTuber realm. There was the bigger ones that would stream most of the time and a few people that were small would stream. But the thing is, like, I met up with a few other people and was like, okay, let's try to stream every now and then. And then I had guests on, and every now and then I had like 200 subscribers, and if they had less, I'd be like, let's try to get them to 100 subscribers, everybody. Try to be the little thing as I was trying to grow. And Gary was the last rookie corner I did, and that's like where I get a panel. Basically, it's my version of like the High Council / Senate or something, but it's not a set group of people. I change it up all the time with whoever comes in. So like that one was fun.
Yeah, and, I think I spotted him before he headed out. I saw a little bit, but I was in the middle of a stream myself, so I couldn't stay around.
Right.
I liked it. Yeah.
Makes sense. And so like I haven't done these in a while because I've just tried to do one-on-ones with people, like so you can get all the full guest like in without a bunch of people talking.
Mandalorian from me tonight, but you probably have to have me back some other time to do other stuff because I do other things other than Mandalorian. It's just a priority at this moment because of the release just now. So yes, I do play a lot of video games too. And you guys, if y'all are not familiar with like Call of Duty and Star Wars Fallen Order, comes out on Friday. EA, this is their time to redeem themselves with a good story, single player, game that doesn't require you to pay a lot of money afterwards on DLC baloney nonsense.
That sounds good.
So, yes. Well, if this does well, then it's going to be interesting for EA because they're going to have to kind of refigure things out because if, it's just the multiplayer stuff it's great. Multiplayer is what sells, but people really hate it. The game loses its longevity real quick when DLCs start coming out. It does. Yeah. A lot less people play every time.
Yeah. True.
So yeah, Friday I will be Friday I'm going to see episode 2 or chapter 2 of the Mandalorian, and I'm going to have hopefully an instant reaction live stream or a instant reaction live stream with Geeks and Gamers, and then go straight to Best Buy as soon as it opens, get my game because I'm an idiot and I didn't pre-purchase the download.
Oh, no.
I don't know why. I think it's just because I had credit from Best Buy and I was like, oh, I'll just get that, and then I realized damn it. So I might be later than some other people playing it, but I will be doing some live streaming that during the day with that. And then I'll be following up in the evening with Gary and Nerdrotic that night for more Mandalorian talk. So
hell yeah.
caught me at a really good time because tonight, like after this and tomorrow, it's going to be all about getting that big review I have, and then it's just full steam ahead into the weekend. So yeah. What do you have going on?
Well, I wish that I could pop by a Friday night thing. That's when I work. So over the weekends, I work quite a bit. And then this Saturday, I think my nieces and nephews are coming by. So hanging out with them. As far as the channel and stuff goes, I am working on a lot of projects. This is my problem. I always have too much things I'm working on at once. And it's like, so I'm working on the big project to start filming in February, but I got to get all the stuff written for it. I just finished writing the first draft of episode 1, which is good. And I started episode 2. And I'm also writing some scripts for some video series that I want to do that takes a little bit of research, and I got to do some time on it. I have to edit a Spartacus versus 300 video that I'm working on, which has a lot of comparisons and similarities of actors and stuff. Just like they're kind of fun to analyze together. I got some actor appreciations. Jason David Frank, the guy who played Tommy in Power Rangers, is one of the coolest dudes around. He does lots. He does lots of real fan films now. He's really trying. He is a fan himself and an actor and a guy who's trying to make
legal trouble, though.
What was that?
Didn't he get into some legal trouble?
Not him, I don't think. There are lots of Power Ranger actors that have gotten into some stuff.
Oh, okay. like
he's
murder or something.
No, that was one of the Red Rangers in one of the newer seasons. I don't know which. I don't remember which season this Red Ranger was, but yeah, it's not him.
Sorry, it just stuck out. I knew it was like a main one, so I was curious.
He's clean. He's clean. But he's done he's helped try to adapt the comic story, The Shattered Grid, and he's Lord Draken, this mix of the Green and White Ranger who's an evil overlord basically, and he's done his own. He tried to launch his own Indiegogo project with one of the other original actors from the Mighty Morphin series, Adam, who played the Black Ranger, who was the second Black Ranger after Zach, and they were going to do the White Dragon, but that didn't raise enough money, I don't think, so they cut that one. He's done video things like, people versus the White Ranger versus Scorpion and some other fictional character in a video game and whatnot, and some fun stuff. So I'll do a video covering him and some YouTuber appreciations as well. I used to do those quite often back in the day. It's funny, Channel Awesome was one of my first ones from back then. The Nostalgia Critic, if you ever watched his stuff, that's where I got my initial skit attitude from, was I would copy his intro by going hello, I'm the Rookie Critic. I don't have a slogan yet, but I'll come up with one later to copy his, hey, I'm the Nostalgia Critic. I cover it, so you don't have to type a slogan.
Yeah. I like it. It's good, though.
Yeah, so I have 50 things written down that I'm trying to get done. I'm okay, get one of them done. But that one should be done now too. Oh, this news came out. Maybe you should try to do something with that. It's okay.
It's tough. Yeah, it's tough to balance everything, especially right now. There's so much out there, content-wise, to throw out onto the channel. So making the wise choices for your time spent is so important. Yeah, like the review that I just did that I'm still editing, not a wise choice because long videos like that typically don't get a lot of traction. But it's a love letter to the Mandalorian is what it is.
They get traction over time. So even if you might not get, maybe you get 300 views now.
Chapter 2 comes out Friday. So I mean, it's really not a smart move on my part, but I can't not do a full review for number 1.
You should do it.
I was too busy with other people's live streams. Not I'm talking about you. I'm talking about yesterday and the day before. I was on. Yeah, I mean, I did reviews with everybody. So
I saw you did Geeks and Gamers. You did your own. Probably some other people. Yeah, but yeah. So I think That covers it for right now with everything. I don't know about closing anything else out. You guys have been awesome in the chat. Thank you for coming by. George, Big Dick, Lucas, Tommy, you finally came by. He's on everybody's live streams, and I always see him around, and I'm like, oh, where are you during mine? And it's like always during the time of day. He's not expecting it, so he doesn't know.
He came in earlier too. I saw him. He was there.
Okay, sneaky little Tommy. And 12-inch Lando. Thank you for coming by. He says, "Where's the Fat Ranger? Diversity, please." Well, I'm glad they have not had one yet. Thank God.
But some of them might be now. But
what's funny is that Power Rangers has always been like one of the most diverse team shows.
Oh yeah, it was like live action Captain. What was it? Captain Planet.
Captain Planet.
Like in terms of like diversity.
Exactly. God, do you know Captain Planet? Do you watch that growing up at all, or not? Yes.
Yeah, I know the theme song.
Captain Planet.
The power of our rings combined. I love it.
With your powers combined, I am Captain Planet. Captain Planet. I remember that song in the back of my head.
Pollution down to zero.
Powers magnified, and he's fighting on the planet.
I always felt bad for what was his name? The one that was Heart.
Yes.
It's like
Earth, wind, water, heart, go planet. Wait, what does your power do? I love.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
Poor little feller.
Heart.
The poor little feller. What he said? You should do an intro that Adilbs. What? Oh, ad libs. Oh, okay. Hitchhiker's Guide. I've not seen Hitchhiker's Guide, so I don't know. That's another one on my list. I still have a lot of movies to knock out. But thank you, everybody. The Script Doctor, Joe Lau just came on in. I want to believe. That makes me want to sing now, but I suck at singing. So I'll just end it right here. Thank you guys for coming by so much. More Rookie Corners will be in the future. Thank you. Go subscribe to Geeky Candi. Her link is in the description below. She's an awesome YouTuber. She is on the rise. She is skyrocketing. She skyrocketed past me.
Oh,
she's got the best Mandalorian coverage and the best Mandalorian predictions. So definitely be following her channel, especially if you want to see the stuff coming out and good discussions. She's also a member of Geeks and Gamers as of recent, and she's just everywhere. Like, you look on Mary's live stream, she's over there. You look at Drunk, she's over there.
I'm on my own live streams. I'm not on my own live streams. That's about it. So
yes. Well, once you do that, you'll get the watch time, you'll get the monetization rolling on in very quickly.
I gotta be a priority at some point, but then I miss out on things like this, and I enjoy being here. So it's tough. It's hard.
Yeah, true. I know it's a tough one. It's a tough one. But
and just real quick, I want to say, if you missed my Yoda spoilers, okay, make sure you rewatch this at the hour mark, because it's worthwhile to you if you're really interested to know more about the stuff with the Yoda species. I'm not going to say it all again, but I know that you have people come popping in and out, and I just wanted to give you a chance to get some more views, Rookie, and other people, like, just rewind or review it, and you can see for yourself what happened and make it for yourself. And look at the videos for confirmation too, because I do have it all up there.
Exactly. That's where she can have the proof. But yeah, so around the 1 hour mark is around when we started talking about the Yoda stuff. So check that out, everybody, and have a great rest of your day.